It was still dark outside when I heard the pounding on my door. Not a knock. Pounding. I looked at the clock. 5:02 a.m. No one knocks at that hour unless something is wrong. I pulled on my sweatshirt, heart pounding, and opened the door. Standing there was my next-door neighbor, Gabriel Stone. Face pale, breathing uneven, eyes wild. "Don't go to work today," he said. His voice low, urgent. "Stay home. Just trust me." I froze. Gabriel was quiet. The kind of neighbor who nods politely but never says more than good morning. Seeing him like this felt wrong. "What are you talking about?" I asked. He just shook his head. "I can't explain right now. Just promise me you won't leave the house." Not for any reason. The sky was still dark, a hint of pink stretching across the horizon. Everything about this moment felt unreal. And then Gabriel leaned and whispered, "You'll understand by noon." Before I could ask anything else, he was gone, walking fast, not looking back. I stood there in silence, hand still on the doorknob, my mind racing. Part of me thought he'd lost it, but another part, the part that trusted my instincts, told me not to ignore this. And maybe because of my father, I couldn't. He died 3 months ago, sudden, unexpected. They said it was a stroke. But before he died, he kept saying there was something I needed to know. Something about our family. He never got the chance to tell me. And since then, strange things had started happening. A black car parked outside my house for hours. Block numbers calling me. Silent, waiting. My sister, Sophie, calling from overseas asking, "Have you noticed anyone new around?" Something was moving in my life. Quietly, intentionally, and it wasn't random. My name is Alyssa Rowan, 33, financial analyst at Henning and Cole Investments. I've never missed a day of work. Until today. So I listened to him. I texted my boss, personal emergency. "Can't come in." Then I waited. The hours dragged. Every sound in my house felt louder. The clock ticking. The hum of the fridge. Even the wind sounded like whispers through the walls. By 11:30 a.m., I started to feel stupid. Maybe Gabriel was just paranoid. Maybe I'd made a mistake. Then my phone rang. Unknown number. "Ma'am," a voice said, calm but firm. "This is Officer Taylor from the county police. Are you aware of a critical incident that occurred at your workplace this morning?" My stomach dropped. "What incident?" "There was a violent attack," he said. "Several employees were injured. We have reason to believe you were present." I froze. "That's impossible. I wasn't there." "Ms. Rowan," the officer said, "we have security footage of your car arriving at 8:02 a.m. Your work ID was used to enter the building. You were last seen on the 3rd floor." My blood ran cold. Someone had used my identity. Someone wanted the world to believe I was there. "Did you see who got out of the car?" I asked. A pause. "The footage is corrupted," he said. "We can't see the face. Only the vehicle, your plates." My hand started shaking. Whoever did this didn't just steal my identity. They replaced me. "Units are being sent to your address," the officer continued. "Do not leave the premises." But something in his tone. It didn't sound like protection. It sounded like containment. My instinct screamed, run. If Gabriel was right, the people coming might not be there to help me. I locked the doors, closed every blind, and then a knock. Not frantic, not gentle. 3 sharp knocks, deliberate. "Alyssa," a voice called. "It's Gabriel. Open the door. We need to talk." I pressed my back against the wall. "How did you know the police would call me?" I asked through the door. His voice came low and steady. "Because they're not coming to protect you. They're coming to place you under federal custody. You were never supposed to wake up in your own bed this morning." My breath caught. "What are you talking about?" He hesitated, then said it. "They staged the incident to eliminate everyone in that building. And you were supposed to be there, not as a victim, but as the one they would blame." If you want to know what happened next, and the truth Gabriel risked everything to tell me, subscribe now and comment where you're watching from. Because what happened at noon didn't just change my life. It revealed why I was never meant to survive this day. It was still dark outside when the pounding on my front door jolted me awake. The clock read 5:02 a.m. No one knocks at that hour unless something is wrong. I pulled on a sweatshirt and went to the door, heart thudding hard against my ribs. When I opened it, Gabriel Stone, my next-door neighbor, stood there. His face was pale, his breathing ragged, like he'd run the whole way. "Don't go anywhere," he said, eyes darting over my shoulder. "They need you alive long enough to make you confess to something you didn't do." A cold realization settled in my chest. Whoever had set this in motion didn't just want me gone. They wanted me rewritten as the villain. And whatever was going to happen at noon, it was never about the building. It was about me. I opened the door wider, not because I trusted Gabriel, but because I trusted fear even less. His eyes locked on mine, sharp and scanning, searching for signs we weren't alone. Without asking, he stepped inside and shut the door behind him. "They're already on their way," he said quickly. "You have minutes, maybe less, before they arrive and declare this place a crime scene." My arms crossed instinctively. Why? Why me? What's going on? He didn't answer right away. Instead, he went to the kitchen window, peering through the blinds. Then he turned back, lowering his voice. "Alyssa, I didn't move here by accident. Your father asked me to watch over you." The words hit like a physical blow. I froze. My father? No. My father was an accountant, a normal man. Gabriel's expression hardened. "Your father was never in finance. That was his cover. He worked on a covert federal investigation for nearly 2 decades. And you were part of the reason." My throat went dry. "What does that even mean?" Gabriel reached inside his jacket and pulled out a small black envelope. "Your father knew this day would come. He left this for you." My hands trembled as I unfolded the paper inside. It was a handwritten note. "Alyssa, if you are reading this, then what I feared has come to pass. You are not in danger because of what you did. You are in danger because of who you are. There is more to your identity than you know. Trust Gabriel as you once trusted me. Do not surrender yourself. If they take you in, you will disappear." Dad. The words blurred through the tears stinging my eyes. He'd known. He'd tried to warn me. All those times he'd said, "There are things you're better off not knowing yet." I'd thought he was being dramatic. Now, they sounded like messages from beyond the grave. Gabriel met my gaze. "They're not just framing you. They're reclaiming you." "Reclaiming?" I echoed, barely above a whisper. He nodded grimly. "You were never just a civilian. Your birth wasn't random. Your identity was constructed. Your father uncovered a classified biogenetic program, one tied to powerful families and engineered bloodlines. When he refused to comply, he became a liability. His death wasn't natural. You were supposed to be next. But then they found a better use for you." My pulse roared in my ears. "Use me as what?" Gabriel took a slow step forward. "As a scapegoat. They needed someone to carry the blame for what's coming. A false flag event, a tragedy they could justify by pointing at you." The realization burned through me. Every uneasy glance, every unexplained event, it had all been leading here. "So this whole thing," I said quietly, "was designed to destroy my life?" Gabriel's eyes stayed locked on mine. "Not just your life, your legitimacy. Once they name you a national threat, they'll seize every file your father ever touched. They'll bury the truth he died trying to protect." He reached into his coat again and pulled out a metal key card, marked with a red emblem. "This unlocks a secure vault your father used. Inside are encrypted files naming everyone behind this operation. If you don't reach that vault before they reach you, everything he sacrificed will vanish." I looked down at the key card, then at the letters still shaking in my hands. All my life, I'd thought I was ordinary, replaceable, invisible. But the truth hit hard. I was never invisible. I was never replaceable. I was being watched because I was the final piece of a puzzle someone powerful didn't want solved. Then came the sound, faint at first, then growing louder, the wail of sirens cutting through the still morning air. Gabriel glanced toward the front window. "They're here." But he wasn't afraid. And for the first time since this all began, neither was I. Because fear needs doubt to survive, and I didn't have any left. I folded my father's letter, slipped the key card into my pocket, and looked at Gabriel. "Show me where we need to go." He nodded once. And in that instant, I crossed the line between the life I'd known and the truth I was born to face. We barely reached his SUV before unmarked black vehicles turned onto my street. The sirens had gone silent. They didn't need them anymore. They weren't coming as law enforcement. They were coming as recovery. Get in, Gabriel ordered. The door clicked shut, and we sped off. Through the rear window, I saw two men step out of a black sedan, scanning the area, one speaking into a radio, calm and certain, like a man retrieving property. Not a person. Property. As the city lights blurred past, a strange calm washed over me. For the first time in my life, I knew exactly who I was, and exactly what they had created me to be. Fear was gone. What replaced it was clarity, sharp, cold, absolute. Something inside me had shifted, like a lock finally turning for the first time. For 20 minutes, Gabriel said nothing. The hum of the tires was the only sound between us. Then, quietly, he spoke. There's something you need to see before we reach the vault. Once you do, you'll understand why they've been watching you your entire life. He reached into his jacket and handed me a tablet. A single file was open on the screen. File name, Rowan Alyssa, Subject 7B. Classification, Genomic Asset, High Priority. Project, Origin Initiative. My breath caught as I scrolled. Gene expression chart. Blood markers, not found in normal humans. Notes. Subject exhibits complete immunity to multiple viral strains. Potential regenerative properties. Subject approved for Phase 2 integration. Phase 2. The words blurred for a moment. What does this mean? I whispered. Regenerative? Immune to what? Gabriel kept his eyes fixed on the road. 20 years ago, your father uncovered a classified biogenetics program, he said. It wasn't about curing diseases. It was about creating something new. A generation of humans engineered to survive what others couldn't. Outbreaks, chemical exposure, war. The tablet's light flickered across my face as the truth settled like ash in my chest. My father, he was involved in this? Gabriel's jaw tightened. He wasn't supposed to be. He found out by accident, saw medical inconsistencies in your childhood records. He discovered unauthorized blood samples taken from you. When he realized they were studying you, he tried to pull you out. But that wasn't an option. The highway lights strobed through the windshield like falling stars. He leaked the program's existence to a federal oversight board, Gabriel continued. They ordered it shut down. But instead of ending it, the people in charge erased everything. The investigation, the evidence, and everyone who knew. My throat tightened. Including my father, I said softly. Gabriel nodded once. They made it look like a stroke. But it wasn't. He was poisoned, a neurotoxin developed by the same program. His death was a message. I closed my eyes. The man I'd spent years trying to understand wasn't secretive. He was protecting me. He died fighting the thing that created me. They planned to retrieve you on your 33rd birthday, Gabriel said. But something changed. Your blood work last month triggered a system alert. That's why they staged the attack today. If you had shown up at work, you'd be dead or disappeared. My voice was barely a whisper. And now they'll frame you, Gabriel replied. Declare you a domestic threat under Asset Recovery Protocol. I tightened my grip on the tablet. Why frame me? Why not just take me? Because they don't just want your body, he said. They want control of the story. If the world believes you're dangerous, no one will question what happens next. The SUV veered off the main highway onto a narrow forest path. The trees thickened, their shadows swallowing the road. The air grew colder. My heartbeat steadied. We stopped before what looked like an abandoned bunker, hidden beneath an overgrown hill. Gabriel turned off the engine and looked at me. You have one last choice, Alyssa, he said quietly. Once you step inside, there's no going back. You'll learn everything your father died to hide. But when you do, they'll never stop hunting you. I met his gaze, steady, unflinching. They've been hunting me my whole life, I said. It's time I find out what's inside me that's worth killing for. Gabriel gave a single nod. I opened the door. The cold air bit at my skin. The bunker door groaned as it opened, like something ancient awakening from years of silence. And in that moment, I realized this wasn't the end of my life. It was the beginning of the one I was meant to live. It began here, the real beginning. The bunker door sealed shut behind us with a deep metallic thud, echoing like the heartbeat of something ancient and alive. The air inside was cold, untouched, almost waiting, not for anyone but for me. Gabriel walked ahead with quiet certainty, his footsteps steady against the steel floor. I followed him through a long corridor lined with heavy safety doors. Each step felt heavier than the last. The deeper we went, the stronger a strange pull grew inside my chest. Not fear, not confusion, recognition. My body remembered this place, even if my mind didn't. We stopped before a massive vault door. Etched into the steel was a circular emblem, the Rowan family crest. My father once showed me a drawing of it, saying it belonged to distant ancestors. But standing there, I finally understood it wasn't heritage. It was identification. Gabriel pointed to a small panel on the wall. Your DNA will open it, he said. I hesitated. How do you know that? Because your father told me. He said the vault would only recognize his bloodline. And you are the last. The last. It hit me then. I wasn't just opening a door. I was unlocking the final truth of my family's existence. I pressed my palm against the scanner. A beam of light swept across my skin, pulsing once before the vault emitted a low chime and began to open. Cold air spilled out, carrying the scent of old paper, memory, and something else. Home. The room inside was circular, lined wall-to-wall with shelves of black boxes, each marked with coded numbers. But at the center stood a glass pedestal, holding a single leather-bound journal. My father's journal. With trembling hands, I lifted the casing and opened to a bookmarked page. Inside was a letter addressed to me. His handwriting stopped my breath. My daughter, if you are reading this, then the lies surrounding your life have finally been stripped away. You were never an accident. You were never property. You are the first natural proof that human immunity can evolve on its own. They did not create you. You are what they have been trying and failing to build for decades. It's not what was done to you that makes you powerful. It's what you already are. You are the future they fear. Tears blurred the ink. My father hadn't just died to protect me. He died to protect what I represented. Not a weapon, a hope. On the next page was one final message. There is a choice only you can make. At the far end of this vault lies the master control terminal. One command gives them what they want, your obedience. The other releases every classified file tied to the Rowan Initiative to the public. Once you choose, nothing will ever be the same. I looked at Gabriel. He didn't speak, didn't try to sway me. Your father trusted you, he said softly. Not as an experiment, as a human being. I walked to the terminal. 2 buttons glowed under the glass. Acquisition protocol, surrender. Revelation protocol, exposure. If I chose the first, I'd live, but as their captive. If I chose the second, I'd make myself the enemy of everyone who ever held power over the truth. I pressed Revelation protocol. A low hum filled the chamber. A countdown appeared. Streams of encrypted data began racing across secure channels. Evidence, names, accounts, all of it flooding into the world my father had prepared. Gabriel exhaled. It's done, he whispered. You just changed the world. Then came the alarms. They had found us. We ran through the tunnel as sirens wailed and lights flashed red against the steel. But this time I wasn't afraid. For the first time in my life, I wasn't hiding in someone else's idea of safety. I was standing in the light of truth. We have to move, Gabriel shouted. We burst through the exit hatch into the freezing night. Helicopters roared overhead, searchlights slicing through the forest. But I didn't see them as hunters anymore. They were just the first wave of a dying lie. And I was no longer running. I was leading the fight. Because I wasn't surviving anymore. I was becoming what my father always believed I could be. Not a subject, not a victim, but the beginning of something entirely new. If you believe the truth should never be buried, no matter how powerful the people trying to hide it are, then subscribe right now and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. Because this isn't the end of the story. It's where it truly begins.